I'm Barbara Bryant. I am from New England Orienteering Club, Cambridge Sports Union, and Navigation Games. And in this section, I would like to share with you a program that was developed with a combination of clubs to reach out to children and families at our local meets. And we would like to share this with other clubs because we think it's something that could be used by every club. And I also would like to hear about what other clubs are doing to do a similar kind of outreach. So this is just one example of what clubs might do at their local events. And as I said, it's a collaboration between the New England Orienteering Club, Cambridge Sports Union, and Navigation Games. The director is Wendy Jonacek. Pia Webb directs the activities. Ed has done technology, graphic design, results. Ethan Childs and I had developed an activity for the youngest children that I'll describe in more details, but Ethan has also been involved in the coaching of the older youth. Becky Carlisle and Kristen Hall have been doing the older youth coaching. Bud O'Leary's helped with planning. We've got Yevgeny and Yana doing the stringo. The point is, a lot of people were involved in this, but I really want to especially give kudos to Wendy, who's pulled it all together and made sure that we approach it very deliberately and with a lot of great planning. So the goals of the program are to serve children from ages 5 to 16, I would say even younger and even older, and to make sure that we have something that works for all ages. We want a family-friendly atmosphere so that we are including and recruiting parents. We wanted to have fun activities that made the kids want to come back and play again. We'd also like to help children make friends. I would say this is something that I think we need to pay more attention to think about how we can have games that really get kids to interact with each other and not just with the activities and the people that they already know. So that's kind of an aspirational goal at this point. And of course we want to teach orienteering. So this is from our flyer. The way it worked is that we had coaches who are leading some fun navigation group activities in different stations. Beginners got to use a map to complete an orienteering course. We did have coaching for the older kids. And the way it worked is we had 6 different events. Initially we're going to try to have them all on Sunday afternoons. We've played a little bit with that schedule. And people were welcome to come to one event or multiple events. You didn't have to be there for all of them. You could come in at any point. So the timing was that people would arrive, register, and then the ideal, we wanted to have everyone be there at 1 and not have people just dribbling in if possible, so that we could assign kids to groups and get started and have all of the activities kind of an instruction happening together. It didn't really work out that way, and we were able to accommodate people who were dribbling in a little bit more, but that was our original idea. And then so the general idea was that for 1 hour you would do these different stations that were appropriate to your age and your level. And then once you had had experience with 1 or more of those stations, you would go with your family and do a regular basic or intermediate orienteering course. We did coordinate, this all happened at a regular meet, and Wendy, our director, felt like that was really important because we could coordinate, like there were things that we didn't have to deal with, like getting the permit and some of the advertising. We did have a separate registration, and that was important because the people at the registration table could kind of assess where each child was and which activities would be best to direct them to for their initial station. And then we had the stations for the activities, and then we shared downloaded results with the ongoing meet. So these are the 6 events that we had throughout 2017. We still have 1 that's upcoming. You can see we had 3 in the spring, 3 in the fall, 1 each month. So in New England, the spring and the fall are the orienteering times of year. And we did have a low reward system. So now I'd like to just summarize the activities. And again, we have materials and information about these that we would like to share freely with other clubs. So these were designed for kids that didn't have any prior orienteering experience, or if they did, that it also worked for them. And then we had these different options. So we start with kids who can't read maps and might not be able to read anything, but they can recognize a picture of an animal. So that was the animal O, and we've had kids have fun with this at age 2, frankly. And then for kids who are ready to start learning symbols, we have a very similar activity, but they're matching symbols to pictures of the features. A string-o helps kids start to understand a map if they're ready, but you can do the string-o even without a map, as I'll explain. And then we have some demo courses of like regular orienteering, and then you move on to regular orienteering. So one of the things that we worked on a lot are a series of posters that explain. So if a parent is walking up with their kids to a station, they can like see this very nice poster that explains what they're going to do and why are they going to do it. So this is part of our Animals and Maps poster. So on the right, you can see what are the skills that these kids are going to learn. Now, these kids are not even touching a map. There's no map involved. There's no compass. But there are a lot of skills that you can teach kids that don't involve map and compass but are important for orienteering. So these kids are learning how to do electronic punching, and as you can imagine, little kids love the beep. They love to make that happen. They get the idea of finding controls. They get the idea of finding controls in order. They're developing spatial awareness with this game because over time, playing this game repeatedly, they start to build up a memory of where the different animals live. And then if you're doing the older, the map symbol game, you start to learn map symbols, and sometimes we had a map for the older kids. So, and then we have very simple instructions on the poster or information. So the first thing you're going to do is find all the animal cones. How many are there? And then you'll get a card and start to visit them in order. And then if you're doing the map symbol thing, it's similar, but now you're matching symbols on the card to a picture that's on the traffic cone, which is where the controls are. And then sometimes we have an orienteering course. And the other thing that kids are learning is the whole sequence of electronic punching. And again, a little kid who's years away perhaps from really understanding a map can get the whole electronic punching sequence. And we can talk to them like they can't read the printout, but we can look at it with them and say, you got them all in the right order. And we can tell them, wow, you were a lot faster than last time, and have a conversation. Like, why were you faster? What did you do differently? So it's great. Okay. So then for the map symbol piece, we also have a poster for that. This is part of that. Now I'm going to move on to talking about the string-o. So we have a Tarzan string-o. And it's called Tarzan because the string-o does go off trail, over logs, up in, around boulders. So the kids are getting the physical experience of going off trail. So there's a pretty gnarly string course through the woods. And the idea is that and again, this is the poster about it, and it tells the parent what you're going to learn, why you do this, because a lot of parents are like, where's the map? My kid's not learning. I want my kid to do the compass. So with these posters, we can just say, they're actually learning a lot of useful things. It describes what they're doing. Again, these posters are mainly for the parents, not for the kids. And so the parents get to learn all about it because this is how adults kind of learn. And now I'll show you a picture of the string-o map.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. So this is at Dannehy Park in Cambridge, and as you can see, so the string is laid out, but the idea is if you can read the map, it's okay to take shortcuts. So if a kid can read the map and see that they're just going over here, they don't have to follow the whole string. So for a more advanced kid, this is our way of introducing them into how you can use the map to take shortcuts. But if you're a kid who's not ready for the map, you can just clamber along all the logs and everything along the string, and that's a great experience as well.
And for some kids, that just might be more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we have mini demo courses at another station, and so that's just a couple of controls that are placed out in the terrain. Often you can see them from the start, and there's a regular orienteering map snippet, and so the coaches at those stations can start to explain to older kids and to parents how to do orienteering, but it's not so scary and intimidating because you're just doing it for a couple controls. It's right there. You've got a coach holding your hand through the whole process. And again, we have a nice poster for those parents who love reading. So to summarize, the key points are that our goal isn't to try and make competent orienteers right off the bat. Our goal is for people to have fun and want to come back, and for those people to be kids and families. And we want them to be successful at whatever activity they attempt so that they feel really good about it. We want people to have a positive experience orienteering. In our philosophy, Ethan wrote this is great. Yeah, so if parents bring kids and their children have fun, those parents are more likely to want to bring their kids back because they see that their kids have fun and that they've learned. And eventually, those kids hopefully will be able to orienteer fully, but our goal isn't to create an immediate orienteer who can even go out on a white course. Our goal is for kids to come have fun in an orienteering session and associate those orange and white flags with having a good time. Okay, so we do want to share this with other people. We'll make the posters available within the activity descriptions, and we're also thinking of pulling together kits, so like that animal symbol O could be a nice kit that clubs could just get. And then stepping back from my OUSA perspective, I would like to learn more about what other clubs are doing to welcome kids and families and make sure that we are sharing that also across clubs throughout the country. Thanks.
So, Barb, I saw a lot of very cool youth development activity in here, and I also saw one sentence about those that did the best got awards on courses. What part of this is competitive, and how much of it is development?
Yeah, there's really not much competitive in this at all. I think when we started out, we had the idea that this could be have a competitive league aspect to it, but we kind of not emphasized that at all during the time that we've done it. We have one final event coming up in November, and I guess there's some idea that we might pay more attention to results on those final white and yellow courses, but it's just not been the emphasis at all.
They really are separate things, and you've done a great job of the development.
Ed, do you want to say something?
Yeah, so we had a bunch of the kids go out and do white. After they did the activities, a bunch of people went out and did white or yellow courses. And then they were coming back and getting results for those. And there was a certain group of kids who were really excited about seeing the results, and we had my screens there, so they were getting their results on a screen, and seeing their name on the screen and seeing themselves in a ranking was important to some of the kids. But then also, like, when you said success was really important too, for the string course, we didn't do any code checking on anything. So when people came back and downloaded, like, we had controls out on the string course because they really like it. They came back, they download, they get their little printout, and their name would show up on the screen. And it didn't matter whether they actually went to any of the controls. Because what mattered on there was, like, they felt like they had been successful and they got their name on a screen in a list, and like you would see the kids like staring at it and say, "Oh, I beat you by 2 seconds," and it would be like at one point one came up and was like, "It would be stupid if I was the last place on this course." And looked at the screen, he was in last place, and then went out and did it again, and like just it was motivating to them to have like success just to get their name on something and see it, and so there was some competition going on in it, but not a lot. But that was a much smaller group of kids doing that than the kids running around just doing the animal and stuff.
Chris,
I just want to have a comment. That symbol though, that was the very first thing I ever did for orienteering, and it hooked me for life. So
you want to symbol become OUSA president?
Guy?
You start with lead punching right at the animal level.
Yeah.
Did they do anything when they finished with it? Did they download it all?
Yeah, they download, and then we check their code. Oh, you got them all. Oh, you got them in the right order. And we look at the time, and if there's few enough of them that we can keep track of their time, we can say, wow, you did that a lot faster than the first time. How did you do that? So it's a conversation opener.
You use the little standalone
a little printer, at that station.
What exactly is this animal O? I couldn't understand exactly.
I didn't explain it. The animal O is we have 10 traffic cones scattered around a meadow. And on each cone, there's a picture of an animal taped to it. And then
you can see all of them in the one.
Usually you can see them all, or if you can't see them all, there's a clear boundary that we explain, like do not go over the sidewalk or whatever. But usually you can see them all, and we can clearly delineate that boundary, and it's a pretty small area. And then we have little strips that have pictures of animals top to bottom, and it's a subset of the animals, like 5 out of 10 of them, and then the idea there is to visit them in the correct order. Boris?
Can you talk a little bit about participation first? How you recruit people, how successful it is, and how likely they are to return from meet to meet in the different locations?
Okay, I'll talk about recruitment, and then we'll see if anyone can talk about return visits. So it's been a little spotty. Like we sent out emails on parent email lists. We got scout groups to come. Some events we had 100 kids, some we had like 12 and it was rainy. So it's been spotty so far, but I think we'll be able to build up our attendance over time. Do you want to say anything about the attendance and repeat visits?
I don't know. We weren't really tracking. We weren't really tracking
Yeah.
repeat visitors. There definitely were ones coming back that you could see. You know, that I was recognizing
I
coming
think
back.
we did notice we had higher attendance in the parks that were in the more urban areas. So it was just easier for the kids to get there. I think, like the Arlington one.
Yeah.
Was huge.
The kids don't. The location seemed to be really important because the kids don't care about the wonderful woods.
Yeah.
They wanted a field to run around in.
Honestly, I almost think it might be appropriate to do it in the exact same park every time. And then you get those 100 kids to come and you build up. By going to different places, it's like it's hard for a family to want to go that far.
Yeah, I talked to a guy who was doing youth development in Copenhagen because they were having a large decrease in population. They did exactly that model. They, apart from like their regular club events, they would have a weekly event in the same exact park with the same exact courses week after week after week. The idea being that people know what to expect, where it is, and then you would progress from like course to course from week to week. And that they seemed to think that was a great way for them to grow their participation. So I think that's a good idea. I think that's definitely worth trying.
Yeah, we had some discussion about like next year using the same parks and the same courses, and you know if we use the same string course or the same white course and yellow course next year at the same park,
right.
It makes it really easy to plan some of the stuff, and the kids aren't going to notice at all or
Right.
care. It doesn't matter that.
To keep all the e-punching and stuff two separate, like for your event that you're having in the park, that it's one separate set of results, and then
Well,
do you actually do results with these things, or just
Yeah.
they punch the box and?
There was like the Animal O and stuff had its kind of complete separate system of just a split printer and controls and stuff, and then when they got up to like the String O had separate start and finish, but they were coming back